Let's face it, 1.20 sucked. It was released a full year after 1.19 was out, and for most people, they weren't pleased when they realized that they waited a year just for a couple of blocks, 2 mobs, and a lackluster mechanic. Like if we compare 1.20, yo, this camel's looking adorable. I only found one suspicious sand in this temple, and it's gunpowder versus the April Fool's update that was released before it. Yo, they added a moon dimension? These cows are actually moonwalking. Yo, what's this thing? I wonder what happens if I press it. What is this? Oh no, my PC is not liking this at all. You can actually vote? I wonder what the first proposal is. Oh no. Why is this a rule? Might as well vote for it. I was also disappointed. I thought, man, these devs are lazy. How can they come up with so little things for such a long time? But as I researched further, I realized that maybe I was actually wrong, and I kind of gained a little respect for Mojang. Well, not really, but I understand them. Let's talk about design first. Mojang follows a list of design principles to make sure that their ideas don't really affect their game in a negative way. We still don't really know what they are since it's their secret, but some people have tried to find some parts of it. Like how problems such as the pillager raids and boss fights must be player triggered, otherwise they may get very annoying. Now for whatever reason, Mojang really likes to add real life animals into the game, more specifically endangered ones. They're also a lot more restrictive on the design of those animals, like how they can't be killed to obtain an item, and that keeping them alive is the only way to receive their items or benefits, like the turtle or armadillo scutes and the axolotl's regen buff. Mojang, please add sharks to the game, please, I'm begging you right now, Now, I only showed a few design principle examples because we'd be here all day if I talked about all of them. Before they begin that process, however, they also need to make sure that the ideas they're going to add should appeal to a wide audience, as Minecraft is home to many players like kids, builders, redstoners, PvP sweats, and many others. Plus, since those additions are going to be ingrained into the game permanently, they usually need to make sure that it doesn't make certain audiences feel left out if they're not into that mechanic, like for example archaeology. Even if some people don't want to do it or just don't like it, it doesn't really affect the core premise of the game. It's just something that people will go after if they want to spice up their builds, which is why modders don't need to worry about appealing to a wide audience as their mods are optional, which means that their target audience will actively seek out their mods. Whereas Mojang has a game that so many people play with different playstyles, they have to take it into consideration. Once those steps are complete, it's time for Mojang to make reiterations. More often than not, the idea, its mechanic, or maybe its design in its inception may be slightly changed or completely different in the final build. Before the Deep Dark and the Warden was added, it took them over 4 months and more than a dozen iterations to make sure everything was right. There was once an iteration where the Warden was invincible just so the players can't cheese it. Thank goodness they revoked that idea. Imagine an invincible Warden beelining towards you with no way to fight it. Now that's a terrifying thought. You can also see how the Warden and the Deep Dark has evolved too, by comparing its teaser to the final product. Mojang has to prototype, adjust, refine, and polish those ideas, which takes a long time and a lot of iterations. Now granted, sometimes I feel like Mojang is kinda lazy, like how the bamboo block oddly looks similar to a TNT block, or how all the planks just look the same but with different hue and saturation. What do you guys think? Are they being lazy or are they being resourceful? Comment down below, leave a like, and a subscribe while you're at it, as I want to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the month. No pressure, of course. We also have to realize that Minecraft has 2 different versions, Java and Bedrock. And recently, Microsoft decided to wake up one day and say that both of them should be updated at the same time. They're also made in completely different engines with different quirks and variations. So if one version is struggling to keep up with its counterpart, most likely Bedrock, then the update won't be out until it's been fixed. And that will take a good while, especially since they need to make sure the update is accessible to all players. And I mean all players. And that's probably why bundles will still be stuck in its experimental phase until Mojang finds a solution for mobile players. Now, while I do feel like I'm giving Mojang a lot of credit, I still feel that they have issues that I want to address. Mojang isn't perfect. Even though they have hits, they also have misses. And one of those misses really makes me mad, which is the Phantom. Everybody was excited for an overworld flying hostile mob that looks and sounds cool, but Mojang turned it into Minecraft's most annoying pest of all time. Fireflies were supposed to be added in the wild update, but for some reason they decided not to because they were poisonous to frogs, even though they let frogs eat magma cubes and they could have just let them coexist rather than being a prey. The reveal of the trial chambers also gave me a a mixed feeling. On one hand, this is such an interesting structure that reminds me of the Aether, which I personally really like. On the other hand, I feel like it just adds another route to the same destination, that being attaining the best gear and killing the Ender Dragon. And I fear that the Trial Chambers will lose its shine eventually. Maybe Mojang will hear our calls, but only time will tell. But I have one question for Mojang. How does an April Fool's update have more content than 3 years worth of updates?